So here's what I know. We all want to reach our full capabilities and even increase our capacity. So how does rest help make that possible? Welcome to the show. This is Truth Applied Podcast, and this is episode number 5 in our rest series. My name is Rebecca. I'm so glad you guys are here today. This is going to be an episode that wraps up what we've been talking about this month, and I'm going to cover 2 main things with y'all. Increasing our capacity and our capability, because I know that we all really want to make the most of our life, as we should. This is a God-given instinct to not just sit around and do nothing, which is, if you've listened to the episodes at all, not what I'm talking about. Rest is actually the secret, the key ingredient to being able to increase our capacity and reach our full capabilities. And the explanation is not long and it's not complicated. And I'm going to give it to you guys really quick and it will make sense. The second thing I'm going to cover in today's episode is what I believe is the biggest need for rest that we have in this day and age. Many of you guys are familiar with the 7 types of rest. Dr. Sandra Dalton Smith wrote a book, and it was like all the craze. I want to say maybe 5 to 7 years ago, but she broke down the types of rest: creative rest, sensory rest, emotional rest, mental rest. And it really made sense. It landed in like the counseling and the personal development world. And there's one specific type of rest that I want to talk about a little bit and give you guys some tips for today. Okay. And then we're going to wrap up this month, and I'm super excited because next month, so if you guys are listening to the podcast in real time, which I know many of you are, this is July 2024, and August will be a new theme. My phone just dinged in the middle of the show. We'll see if we edit that out or not. August is going to be singleness. Okay, so I'm taking one moment here to pitch next month's theme. If you're a single woman, you're going to love it. I mean, you guys know my story. I didn't get married till I was 39. My heart knows you. It, in many ways, still is you. I think I have the single card forever, meaning I know what it's like, y'all. I was 39. And I cannot wait to give some episodes this coming month that will speak to single women on, I believe, like such a healing level. But also, if you happen to be married, this will help you love and appreciate your friends, your daughters, your mom, your sisters, anybody in your life who's single. It'll make you view your marriage differently. So it's still going to be very relevant, even if you're married. And in essence, the series is really about any type of suffering or waiting or sort of a loss of dreams. Okay. So it's not super specific to singleness. One of the episodes will be at least, but most of them are going to be kind of more broad. So tune in next month for that theme. All right, let's wrap up the rest theme. So how are you guys? I mean, we started talking about this weeks ago. And, the beauty of just getting truth in is that it slowly changes us and it just makes us think. And I hope that's what this is doing. I hope that over this last month, you've just felt maybe less guilt when you've rested, that you've maybe cleared your schedule just a little bit more when you've started to get anxious or overwhelmed. And maybe even the opposite. Maybe you've had moments where you've sat around too long or you're getting antsy in your rest and you realize, I'm done resting. I don't need to sit here all day, because I've talked about that side of it too. So yeah, I would love to hear from you guys as always. Email me. I think on Spotify, you can actually put comments on, YouTube. You can definitely put comments. Many of you follow me on Instagram. So just any thoughts, any feedback you have about this series, and if it's helped you, if it's helped move the dial a little bit, if it's blessed you, maybe it's like radically changed your mindset, let me know. Okay, it helps I do these episodes every week and I pour myself into them, and I can see how many, views and listeners we have, and that's fantastic. But when I hear back from you guys, it's so encouraging to me to keep doing this hard work every week and bringing you this free, good content. So, really quick explanation of how rest helps us increase our capacity and our capability. So, this is an obvious analogy. Any of us who have ever wanted to get more fit, any of us who have ever tried to work out, and we have tried to increase our lung capacity, our muscle capacity, we all know that we have to rest. So I went through this running phase in my life, and I'm not in it right now. I wish I was. All I was running were 5Ks, like a little over 3 miles. Somebody told me they didn't believe I could do it. Well, my brother, of course, any girl listening who has a brother knows that that was for sure going to be a challenge I was going to take on. My brother told me he didn't believe I could run 3 miles without stopping. So what did I do? I trained for a 5K and I did run 3 miles without stopping. Thank you very much. But when I started, I could not even run, to the end of the block. I did not have capacity, but literally the lung capacity, to get enough oxygen through my body to keep running. So I pushed myself. I tried, and then I would rest that day. The next morning, I went a little further. I would rest. The next morning, I went a little further. I would rest. It took me a few months to train, but eventually I ran 3 miles without stopping, and I increased my physical lung capacity, muscle ability. I had the capabilities, the natural God, like my lungs were able to get there. My muscles were able to grow just like yours are. The capabilities that we have, ladies, for hard work and good work are God-given, and they're beautiful, and they're actually a lot bigger, I think, than we think they are. So we've all often heard that phrase, like, you can do hard things. Yeah. I mean, the way God made us, and especially when we're walking in the power of God, are huge. Like, I mean, the things that humans can do, the things that humans have endured, the even difficulties and tragedy and trauma, and just the things that we are capable of are mind-blowing and way beyond what you even think about yourself. The secret is, how do we increase our capacity to be able to get there? First and foremost, let me just say that God is the author of this. God is the author in your life of your sanctification, the expanding really of your soul, the deepening of your faith. The Holy Spirit is the giver of the spiritual fruit in your life. So God is the author and perfecter of your faith. The Bible tells us that. He who has begun a good work in you will complete it. Meaning the trials, okay, the suffering, maybe the new opportunities that are challenging, maybe the singleness, maybe the motherhood. I don't know what your life is right now, but what I do know is that God is increasing your capacity. He's sanctifying you. He's teaching you how to offer more to the world. He's expanding you to receive more of him. And all of this requires rest. Something magical happens when we rest. You guys know that. On a physical level, when we rest, like the muscles have time to repair themselves and then they're stronger, right? I mean, when we rest, healing, a strengthening, a rejuvenation takes place that allows us to go back to our families, our jobs, our lives, our exercise, whatever you want to call it, with an increased capacity. If literally, to just keep using the exercise analogy, somebody was like, no, I'm just going to keep walking, or I'm just going to keep running until I can run 3 miles, they would die. I mean, without the break of rest, I couldn't have pushed myself. I would have passed out, probably would have been the situation. I literally, from like oxygen or muscles that couldn't handle it, even if I had the mental toughness, that first day that I started trying to train for a 5K when I couldn't even run like a block. If I had the mental toughness to just keep pushing through, I would have thrown up or I would have passed out or something. You can't just push through to whatever level it is that you think you want to get to. God created us to rest. And when we rest, there is a healing and an increasing and a rejuvenation that takes place. What area in your life is God really pushing you? He might be pushing you in self-sacrifice. He might be pushing you because you're a new mom or a newlywed or an empty nester. There's some area that's it's really taking a lot out of you. It's almost like you're starting to run and you've never run in that area before. This is, mental, emotional, character, I don't know, but just in your life. This is why and where you have permission to rest. Like, it's okay that X, Y, and Z is hard on you emotionally, or that you're emotionally exhausted. God is trying to increase your capacity, and you need to rest. It's okay. It's a good thing. This is why teenagers sleep a lot, because they're physically growing. They're physically increasing in their capacity and capability, and they have to rest a lot. So I wonder where in your life you're growing. I wonder where in your life you're being stretched. And when you are growing, when we are being stretched, we need extra rest. We need extra rest. Okay. So I think that's an obvious analogy there. And I hope it just makes sense we don't need to explain it forever. I don't need to keep repeating it. It's basically just your permission. Apply what we all know about physical exercise and the need for time and patience and rest when we're trying to increase our capacity and our capabilities. Okay. Physically, to apply that to your life, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, socially. So let's move on to this idea of the 7 types of rest. And I want to hone in on one of them. The 7 types of rest are social rest, which means that you're able to have fulfilling social interactions and not ones that drain you. Okay. So loneliness can be draining, but also social interactions that require a lot out of you, and you almost have to fake it or be on or try really hard. We're talking social rest is I'm around my people and it's fulfilling to me, not draining to me, because these people are easy to be around. Creative rest is playing or just being inspired by beauty or learning. So instead of all the output and trying to, problem solve and be creative all the time, we're letting our mind be inspired. Spiritual rest is, according to this person who's a secular doctor, community or prayer, which I don't disagree with either one of those, but there's more. Spiritual rest is definitely believing God, trust, knowing the truth, and letting the truth affect your day, letting the truth affect your belief, letting the truth wash over your worries and your anxiousness, like actively walking in trust. That's spiritual rest. Emotional rest is being able to express your feelings authentically. So not having to hold it all together or sweep stuff under the rug, but being able to be authentic. So this can be in prayer. This can be with a best friend. This can be with a husband. This can be in your journal. Mental rest is like micro breaks, taking a walk. Mindfulness, meaning getting your brain off of the computer screen or the document or the problem you're trying to solve, and we're just bringing it into the present. Okay, so really it's when there's a part of your brain, the strategic problem solving part of your brain, it's deactivating that side and activating the other side, the side that just wanders when you take a walk, the side that just almost zones out and goes into like a meditative state when you're cleaning. the side that just kind of clears out when you scroll your phone for a few minutes. Scrolling can be a good method of clearing your mind if you don't do it for too long. But that's mental rest. And then we have physical rest, which is the obvious of sleep or just really, being gentle on your body. So the last one is sensory rest. And this is the one that I want to focus on before we wrap it up here. Sensory rest is quietness, and it's disengaging from screens and TV and even music. Okay, we're so overstimulated all the time now. We go from staring at our phones to staring at a computer to staring at our iPads to staring at our TV. The amount of time in any given day, unless you're like camping or, being extremely strategic about limiting screen time, most people are overstimulated by a screen that's, within reaching distance or right in front of their face all day, every day. And this is so new to human history. And I'm just saying what a lot of other social psychologists and other people are saying. But like from my heart to yours, just me, Rebecca, and I can picture many of you, my listeners, I want you to really think about this. I want you to not just say, oh, Rebecca's saying what everybody else is saying. Like, our need for sensory rest is so physical. It's so spiritual. It's so deep. We read this verse in Mark chapter 6, 30 and 31. The apostles returned to Jesus and told him all that they had done and taught. And he said to them, come away by yourselves to a desolate place and rest a while. For many were coming and going, and there was no leisure to even eat or drink. For many were coming and going. What's happening here is a busyness, an overstimulation. Now, obviously, they don't have screens in front of them, but Jesus is calling his disciples away because he's saying, you've been on the go. Go, 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 go. And now you're back, but it's still chaotic here. It's still noisy here. It's still loud here. Go away by yourselves and rest a while. Chaos, y'all. Noise. Jesus is inviting his disciples, which we are now. We are his disciples, out of the chaos and the literal physical stimulation and noise. And he's saying, go away to a desolate place. Desolate very much implies sensory overload. Go away by yourself to a desolate place and rest a while. How are you doing that in your life? How are you going away to a desolate place by yourself and resting a while? Desolate place means no sensory overload. This means maybe going for a multiple hour drive by yourself without your phone. Go away by yourself. This means sometimes not even with your cute kids or your cute husband or your best friend or your dog in the car. Go away by yourself to a desolate place and rest a while. Can you even imagine sensory rest on this level? I can. I make this a priority in my life. It's not like a daily thing. I told you guys in the last episode some of my daily habits of the discipline of processing my emotions, starting my day in prayer, managing my calendar. But I would say maybe once a week or so, I feel the need to be alone. Alone. And yes, I'm married. I don't have kids, but my husband is used to me saying I need to take a drive, or I'm going to go run errands, or I'm going to leave my phone at home and go run errands. At first, he didn't love that because like everybody else, he kind of had the same thought or the same excuse of like, what if something happens? To which I said, prior to 15, 20 years ago, everybody in the history of the world didn't have a phone. So I'm going to go without my phone and take a drive or run errands. And I don't immediately turn on a podcast, and I don't immediately turn on even worship music. And I will often find somewhere in nature to sit. We have lots of rivers and parks around here. And so I might sit for just an hour or two in a chair. Sometimes I'll take a book. Sometimes I'll take a journal. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes I'll fall asleep and take a nap. Sometimes I literally dark room, no light, no sound, lay there until I take a quick nap or just kind of in prayer. I don't do this for hours, but I'm planting these pictures and these images and these thoughts in your guys' head because I want you to start to believe and picture moments in time in this day and age in 2024 where you can have sensory rest. Okay. Sensory rest is going to have to be fought for. And even if you're very spiritually healthy, even if you're really mentally, emotionally healthy, even if your schedule's not too full, sensory rest is different. And I do deeply, deeply, deeply believe that a lot of the health issues that people are dealing with, okay, a lot of the autoimmune things and the stress and the anxiety and a lot of the physical health issues are coming because we never truly, deeply let our body get back into rest and restore mode. We're in fight or flight mode, or we're at least in like pay attention mode, or we're at least in I'm stimulated by something happening around me all the time, all the time. We have very little to no actual stillness, actual quietness, nothing to look at, nothing to listen to. I mean, start with 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. And if it makes you uncomfortable, you'll get used to it eventually. You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. Increase your capacity for it. Okay? Because you have the capability. You were made for it. Shoot, we were made to live and walk in a garden. We were made and designed to live and walk in a garden, not to live and walk in this overstimulated world that we live in. Okay, ladies, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this rest series. I have poured my heart into it for you. We talked about the fact that hustle doesn't work. We talked about the fact that rest is not laziness. We talked about what spiritual rest really is. And last week I shared with you guys 3 of my routines that I feel keep me both rested and productive. And then today I just wanted to share these quick ideas with you about how rest allows us to increase our capacity and our capabilities. And then what I believe is all of our universal, deep, gigantic need for sensory rest. And, I just like all the problems that you think you can't rest from are still going to be there tomorrow. All the things that you think you have to handle, God can handle. All the things that you're afraid of coming up if you actually get quiet or take a rest probably need to come up and be dealt with. We have been set free, being worry free, and knowing that we have a God who hears our prayers. We, as the children of God, have the blessedness being able to live rested. And I hope that you receive that gift. I hope that you see that as a gift. And the Bible talks about entering our ultimate rest in heaven, but it also talks about the fact that the yoke is easy and the burden is light here on this side of heaven. If you guys need any, extra tools to help kind of apply this to your life, you can, of course, always hit me up for coaching. I am accepting like 2 new clients right now. Or you can just check out the toolkit, which is only $12.99. There's a link in the show notes, and that toolkit has printable reminders. So kind of some of the best quotes and phrases from this rest series that you can print and put on your mirror or anywhere in your car or something like that. It has reflection questions, the toolkit. It has prayer prompts to help you really, ask God to increase your faith and help you even desire rest more. It has the list of scriptures that I've used in this series so far. It also has a quiz, Am I Too Busy? It has Breaking the Cycle of Busyness worksheet, and finally a small group discussion guide, because I'm really hoping that some of you are listening to this podcast every week with friends, and that once a month you'll get together and you'll just use that small group discussion guide to grow and process what you guys are listening to. Okay, guys, let's wrap this one up. Happy Monday if you're listening to this on Monday. Have a great rest of your day and a great rest of your week. And I pray that this series has been powerful for you. See you for the next one.